Sorry, go on.
We got X2, X-Men United.
Yeah.
Still one of my favorite superhero movies.
It's up there.
One of the best comic book movies.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think still the best X-Men. Days of Future Past was epic.
I think that is
but
the
I think
best X-Men, yeah.
Yeah.
X2 for me it's just so good. That opening scene,
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler set to the Mozart
Yeah.
music, attacking, using his powers in just crazy awesome ways,
Yeah.
and it really nailed the character. Like that's how you wanted to see him brought to life. And Alan Cumming, like bless him for sitting through all that makeup and stuff.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
Nightcrawler looked awesome.
Yeah.
That could have looked weird,
Yeah.
but it looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like so many cool things, and it really hit the theme of sort of us versus them. Like humans hate mutants, and this whole like government guy trying to get rid of all of them, like kill them all at the same time because it's personal baggage. But in the first one, he didn't really get that because it was mutant versus mutant. But this one, the X-Men teaming with their villains to overcome the humans, because then they have to protect the humans at the end, because they have to protect those who hate and fear them. It's the X-Men. It's so pure, it's so quintessential. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, the social commentary, like, you know, Bryan Singer was really able to sort of play with that in really interesting ways with the Stryker dynamic and everything. And it was also, I think, the first, like, I thought Hugh Jackman was great casting in X1, but this movie, when he goes berserk in the mansion, like, that's the Wolverine from my childhood. That's what I want to see.
I still don't think any film has really captured the Wolverine that he is in the comics.
Yeah.
He's a total lunatic berserker. But this movie gets the closest.
In that scene where he's protecting the kid.
Stabs that guy in the toes.
Yeah.
Ah!
The first cut of the movie got an R rating, and then they had to cut a few seconds out to get the 13.
Huh, interesting.
Because
Probably
of
when he
Wolverine,
eviscerated a couple of them and their guts fell out, and they're like, maybe we should cut that out.
When he gets the guy in the chest,
yeah.
and Iceman's like hiding like behind
It
him.
really got the berserker rage down. I like that. And you mentioned social commentary, and it really did. One of my favorite scenes is Iceman's like coming out scene, where like you would have the exact same conversation if you're coming out to your parents as gay, but it's him coming out as a mutant, and his family's reactions are just so like, do you have a problem being? It's like, okay, have you tried not being a mutant?
Yeah.
And Wolverine's like, what's wrong with being a mutant?
Yeah, totally.
So
There's so many good moments. Wolverine pulls his claws on the cat.
Yeah.
The cat
And it
licks his
licks
claws.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. There's a lot of characters, but it doesn't feel like bloated.
Yeah.
Like it's a very
they knock
easy to
Cyclops
follow.
out halfway through because they don't know what to do with him.
Yeah, and it definitely, again, this is another, like, the less we speak of X3, the better. But this was a movie, it was that perfect, taking a world set in the first movie, adding onto it without tipping it over and becoming bloated.
Becoming Avengers 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Speaking of
Avengers 2 isn't that bad.
I do think it was bloated.
A little bit.
I would
There's a lot
say.
of
Yeah, I
characters.
mean, it's a movie that,
Lot.
just to compare, I mean, we don't need to spend too much time talking about Avengers 2, but like X2, you're exactly right, balances, this giant team of heroes and this giant team of villains and other, third parties with their own motivations, but it doesn't feel
I feel like it's very
"Ah."
easy to follow. And
Yeah, it's great.
it zips along.
And I gotta mention the ending.
I like the ending.
One of the best endings that led to nothing ever, because it was from the very beginning you get something that's off with Jean, and then in the middle she uses her powers and like sort of the fire erupts in her eyes, and she of course sacrifices herself, and then under the end, as Professor Xavier is talking, that monologue, pan over the lake, and you see just the barest outline of the Phoenix.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So there was fans like everywhere were just like losing their minds. Oh, it's gonna be so good. But then of course, Bryan Singer leaves the franchise to go to Superman. Brett Ratner takes over. You get just the Phoenix, who was really just a woman in a red dress with bad cataracts. It's like, where's the Firebird? It was in the last movie. He went there, just kept follow up. Oh, so bad. One of the biggest cinematic disappointments as far as I'm concerned.
I agree.
This is our next installment of History of Awful.
Can we do that series next?
Nope.